Now on 13 on your side, the grandmother of a 5-year-old boy who was allegedly killed by her own mother and her boyfriend is speaking out tonight. Hear her heartbreaking message about the circumstances surrounding his death. Plus, trees and power poles were knocked down in Mexicali due to strong winds. We share how strong the winds have been so far and how long they're expected to last.
Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego is in San Luis for his first ever town hall meeting in the area. Stick around to see what he went over at the meeting.
You're watching 13 on your side.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight on 13 on your side. I'm Jalen Fong. The grandmother of a 5-year-old child who was allegedly murdered by his own mother and her boyfriend in Brawley is speaking out. Reporter Jessamine Dodd spoke to the child's grandmother about the circumstances surrounding his death.
The grandmother said she first learned of the arrests on social media. She said she previously spoke to the mother who told her she needed money because the child was sick.
I started noticing Junior having illnesses and falling all the time. So I started, every time he came home with a pop lip or something, I would take him to the hospital because I know the hospital is going to come CPS eventually.
But the family says CPS gave the child, 5-year-old son Joseph Jr., back to the mother, 24-year-old Leah Lentz. The grandmother says in the beginning, Lentz was a good mom. But she is now charged with murder and child abuse resulting in death, according to the district attorney's complaint.
Even if she says she wasn't involved, it still made her responsible for that.
Lentz made her first courtroom appearance this week in El Centro. This, as Lentz's boyfriend is facing his own charges of murder and child neglect. Reporting from Brawley, I'm Jessamine Dodd.
Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully we're having a pretty good Thursday as we're taking a look outside and showing you our 13 on your side sky camera here, sponsored and presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Outside, feeling a little bit better here today compared to yesterday. Still a little bit windy, though, throughout our area as of right now. And we are going to be tracking those same winds for the remainder of our night and even into Friday. So we're taking a look now at our temperatures here is what we're seeing across our area. Again, right around that 60-degree mark. A little bit cooler through parts of the Imperial Valley. And we're actually seeing pretty similar numbers here in Yuma for the most part. Really not a ton of disparity either. Somewhere in that 56 to 60-degree range as of right now, too. Our overnights probably won't be looking too different. We're expecting those numbers to be right around that 45, 50-degree mark. So still a little bit of a decrease here tonight, and that air quality watch is still around here. Not going to be expiring till 1 a.m. there on Saturday, so we referenced those winds staying a little bit longer than maybe we would like here, unfortunately, as we bring up a couple key tracking points before we go here. Crazy wind is really almost gone. Just a day or two left of that. By Saturday, things should be looking a lot better, including a nice warmer weekend. And then we're tracking 90-degree temperatures for next week, unfortunately. So a major change on the way. We're going to bring you all the weather coverage as we get there and talk a little later on here, my weather forecast.
Thank you, Sam. And speaking about those crazy winds, multiple trees and power poles were knocked down as part of a gas station roof collapse due to strong winds in Mexicali. No injuries were reported, but more than 30 wind-related incidents happened, causing power outages across several neighborhoods. A temporary shelter was set up in place for residents affected by the power outages. As of Wednesday night, traffic lights along major avenues were not functioning, and sections of the highway La Rumorosa were temporarily closed. Locals came together this evening for an immigrant solidarity prayer vigil. Yuma area United Methodist churches and community members gathered at Friendship Park. They emphasized it wasn't a political event or a protest, but a time for prayer and mourning. They also want to bring hope and lift up their voices. Locals are standing in solidarity with immigrant communities who are being impacted by immigration policies and recent ICE raids and deaths.
So we're praying that as we emphasize our common humanity and sacred worth, we can support each other and pray and work together so that change occurs.
The Church Desert Southwest Conference made a big announcement today of their Solidarity Fund to financially support families impacted by immigration policies. You can learn more on how you can donate on our website at KYMA.com.
and acknowledges.
Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego was in Yuma County today as he hosted a town hall meeting to get a better understanding on how immigration workforce issues are impacting border communities. Reporter Paul Vazella shares more on this meeting.
This is Senator Gallego's first time hosting a town hall meeting in the San Luis Yuma area with an emphasis on going over real-world challenges that people in a border community face. The senator answered questions regarding educational funding for an area with Title I schools, along with the energy and water needs for an agriculturally abundant part of the state. But his main point of conversation? Immigration and ICE.
People that come here legally with visas are afraid to even cross the border. And they don't like is the kind of antagonistic relationship that we're building with Mexico, because this area in Arizona has had a great relationship with Mexico for many years that has really been driving the economy for quite a while.
As for those who are crossing illegally, Gallego wants to weed out what he believes to be the helpful from the harmful.
Let's have professional immigration enforcement. Let's deport the criminals. Let's deport the people that are causing problems in our neighborhood. Everyone else, let's give them a background check. Make them pay a fine. Make them get in the back of the line. Give them, a temporary visa. And if after a couple years they prove themselves to be good residents, then we could decide what to go there.
And the senator believes deciding how to handle immigration can be a bipartisan one.
I don't think this has to wait for Democrats to take over. I think there's a lot of Republican businessmen that realize that, and women, that, immigration, especially legal immigration, is actually good for this country, right? And we all are stronger and more prosperous when we have people coming here and working.
The town hall meeting lasted about an hour and went over several topics, as we just mentioned, and there was a lot of give and take between the senator and the community. Reporting in San Luis, I'm Paul Vazella.
Coming up on 13 on your side, residents of San Luis, Mexico are protesting toll booths at the Rio Colorado Bridge. Why they claim the toll has caused long delays and why they are now questioning how this money is being used. Plus, locals are calling for baseball fields to reopen in Calexico. Why they think this is important to the entire community.
President Trump weighs possible military action against Iran. I'm Erica Brown with more from the president on a timeline and reaction from Capitol Hill.
You're watching 13 on your side.
Welcome back, everyone. President Donald Trump has given a timeline for Iran to reach a deal to end its nuclear program. It also gives U.S. forces more time to steam towards the Middle East. This comes as the president also convened its first ever board of peace designed to maintain peace in Gaza. Erica Brown has the latest details from Capitol Hill.
President Trump is weighing action against Iran if no deal is reached to curb the country's nuclear program.
We may have to take it a step further, or we may not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days.
CBS News has learned national security officials have presented the president with military options for strikes against Iran. And the president has ordered a buildup of U.S. forces in the region, including the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford. It comes as Iran is carrying out joint military exercises with Russian forces in the region.
We're either going to get a deal or it's going to be unfortunate for them.
Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna and Republican Congressman Thomas Massie plan to force a vote as soon as next week on a war powers resolution requiring congressional approval before any military action against Iran. President Trump also announced the U.S. will contribute $10 billion to the Board of Peace as he hosted its first meeting in Washington Thursday. The board was created as part of the brokered peace deal between Israel and Hamas.
We have to get this right. There is no plan B for Gaza. Plan B is going back to war. No one here wants that.
The president signed fundraising pledges totaling about $7 billion from member states to help with humanitarian aid and reconstruction in Gaza. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
A national voice in agriculture is here in Yuma today. I'm Adric Vargas, coming up what the USDA's visit to the Ag Summit means for local growers.
Plus, powerful winds are expected to sweep through our region for the next couple of days or so. Sam Curtis is going to break it all down for you next in his full weather forecast.
You're watching 13 on your side.
Welcome back, everyone. Connecting Sonora and Baja California, residents of San Luis, Mexico are protesting the toll booth at the Rio Colorado Bridge. They claim that the toll has caused long delays since the installation of the control gates. They're also questioning how the money people paid to use the toll is being used. Citizens are arguing that the bridge should have already been paid off and that the toll should be revoked. This bridge handles daily traffic of vehicles, goods, and making long lines a serious problem for users and local businesses. Toll revenues are currently managed by a state trust that distributes funds to San Luis and Puerto Penasco.
To be honest, I've had to wait in long lines, sometimes up to half an hour. I cross this bridge in the morning and afternoon, and hopefully the toll, because the cost has also gone up, will be used for something good.
The current toll concession expires on September 20th. If an agreement is not negotiated, local funding could come to an end. The baseball fields at Cordova Park in Calexico will remain closed even though several locals want them reopened. Wednesday night, several residents and parents of baseball players spoke out at the city council meeting. They say they have taken their children to other cities due to a lack of local baseball fields.
I have 46 kids on the waiting list, but they don't have anywhere to practice in Calexico. The only thing that we are asking is that they let us practice. If they don't let us play games, that's not a problem, that's fine. But we want to be able to practice so more kids can join. Right now, we are asking Heber for a park so we can practice there.
Neighbors of the park requested it remain closed, stating that the park that was promised is not yet finished despite taxes for it being paid. It's also a lack of funding to finish the park. The 20th annual Southwest Ag Summit wrapped up today, ending with a visit from a national leader in agriculture. Reporter Adek Vargas was there and brings us some key takeaways from day 3 of the Ag Summit.
The summit brought some national attention to Yuma, including a visit from USDA's Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation. Some of the people I spoke to here today say their presence here shows just how important Yuma is to agriculture nationwide. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation, Richard Fordyce, was today's keynote speaker. During his remarks, Fordyce shared why coming to Yuma mattered to him. He says it's important for him to better understand the role this region plays in feeding the country and learn more about the production challenges local growers face.
This will be 3 days that he's spending here to learn about our area, so it's a very unique opportunity for him, and he can take our message back into the Department of Agriculture.
Organizers say the message is that Yuma's unique climate and year-round crops make it key to the nation's food supply and a hub for testing new farming innovations.
And this summit just helps us bring people from around the world as far as vendors and bringing new technology to us as an industry so that we can apply that to our local area.
The goal is to keep Yuma leading the way when it comes to technology and innovation in agriculture. Whether it's drones that defend crops from birds,
that it flies and it takes back your airspace and chases them back to their habitat,
or high-tech wheelchairs for farmers.
This is called an Echo Rover, and it's a tracked wheelchair. If someone has a disability from an accident, you can still get to your equipment and still continue to farm and pursue your passion.
With National Voices here today, organizers say that the future of agriculture in Yuma looks pretty strong. Reporting in Yuma, I'm Adek Vargas.
Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you are enjoying our Thursday night here. So take a look outside, showing you our 13 on your side sky cam and our conditions here as we speak. Of course, sponsored by El Centro Motors Ford. We're seeing better conditions here today, but really weren't that much better than what we've been dealing with over the last 48 hours with all that crazy wind and just some nasty conditions. Today was a little bit better and still seeing some wind, though, and those temperatures were a little bit cooler here today, and we're predicting them to be just as cool tomorrow. Seeing around 60 degrees here across the Imperial Valley, a little bit lower already in certain areas, and here in Yuma, pretty much the same for our temperatures right now. Again, right around that 60-degree point, a little bit cooler in certain spots, but for the most of us, seeing Again, 60, 56, that pretty much range right there. As we move forward now and show you what else is going on with our lower numbers here tonight. Ultimately, we'll see numbers in the middle 40s, lower 40s, even some reaching that 30-degree range out in the Blythe area, as well as Quartzsite right at that 40-degree mark. A little cooler over in the Welton-Tacna, as well as the Dadeland areas here tonight. Imperial Valley also reading right around that 40 to 43 degree mark. Again, these winds aren't going anywhere, especially for our friends in California here, at least for the start of Friday. By the time we get to the afternoon, you can see things slowing down calmly but surely by Sunday or Saturday, if you will. Seeing those winds pretty much non-existent, so that is the positive sign here. Expecting much better weather here for this weekend, and that's exactly why we're going to see it with those winds really stopping. As you see, Route, we still have that air quality watch just on the outside of our DMA here in the Riverside, California area. Again, we're tracking for winds to be pretty out there for our Ocotillo, Salton City friends tomorrow. We're still tracking for them to be pretty aggressive in the morning as well as the early afternoon period. By nightfall, we should see some better conditions, but that's still intact again until early Saturday morning. Our future track temperatures for you guys, more of the same to come for Friday. We talked about those winds staying intact here. We're seeing our numbers be about as high as 65 degrees, so ultimately very similar numbers compared to what we had here yesterday. Moving along now and taking a look at our weekend changes. Saturday providing some better weather right around that 70-degree mark, but between the 2 days, we're almost taking a 10-degree jump. Sunday expecting 80 degrees, and we'll warm up even more as we get farther into that week with potential to hit that 90-degree mark at points. Our Imperial County Air Pollution Control District here, sponsored by with our air quality index, all good for the most part. So appreciate that we're getting this better here today. Yesterday was a wreck, hazardous, unhealthy. Saw some really iffy conditions here in the Imperial Valley area for air quality. So move along and show you our 7-day to wrap things up. I know we're kind of just staring at this and taking a look at those 88 to 90 degree weather days there, Tuesday through Thursday of next week. So even Monday might be kind of nice in retrospect to what we'll see in the following days here. It's going to warm up quite fast. This weekend, we mentioned, looking pretty good for both of our counties. We're at 80 degrees by Sunday. Saturday, a little cooler. Saturday will probably be the best day of weather we've had all week here long. But next week, expect those numbers to continue to rise. Probably be seeing 90 degrees by the time we hit Wednesday of next week. So maybe get those pool floaties out and exchange them for all the jackets we have laying around right now. And hopefully we can enjoy this weekend before we get all these crazy temperatures. Coming up next on 13 on your side, Central Boys Soccer was on the verge of elimination today. We show you how this all-time game ended, plus more CIF and AIA playoff action coming up next in sports. Everyone wants to beat number one. Welcome into sports. After a trip to the CIF state title game last year, Central Boys Soccer are looking to make the same exact run this season. But tonight, they would have to go through the Cathedral Catholic Dons. There are those Spartans trying to return the state title game, having to go through 2 more rounds to do so, hosting Cathedral Catholic tonight at Cal Jones Field. Early on, not to start, the Spartans won, as the Dons have a free kick opportunity and put an absolute beauty inside the box, was headed in. Central gives up their first goal of the ball game. It is silent at Cal Jones Field. And just about 10 minutes later, the Dons pull off the same thing. A deep free kick leads to another header goal. Central is absolutely stunned as Cathedral Catholic comes into El Centro and puts the number 1 seed down 2-0. And things are not looking up for Central as they went into the break down 2-0, having to mount a comeback, keep their season alive. Their defense came alive in the second half, shutting out the Dons, and so did their offense, scoring 3 unanswered goals. And they actually did it. The Spartans marched back in penalty kicks, beating Cathedral Catholic 3-2 and 4-1 in PKs. Central will now host number 12 Otay Ranch on Wednesday for a spot in the CIF state title game. Congrats on the marvelous comeback, gentlemen. To Burger Field we go for some more soccer. There are those El Cajon Braves coming in, trying to pull off the upset after a rough regular season. Holtville, on the other hand, went 10-0 in region play and now find themselves in the CIF quarterfinals. Again, a wonderful game that had tons of action if we could get to it here. It was a marvelous game for those Vikings. Again, they really played well here tonight, scoring 5 goals. And, we're really doing all they could on both sides of the ball. Again, we actually got to talk with first-year head coach Ruben Macias after the game. Here's what he had to say on his team's win.
proud of the girls. It's my first year as a coach. When I came in, I didn't know what to expect. After we did our preseason, I saw the potential that we have, and it was just transmitting that to them because I know that they can handle this and they can do great. But we just need to get that potential out of them, and we're getting there. We're getting there, and I'm very proud of all of the girls that are here.
Quarterfinal action again. Watching those Vikings was a pleasure tonight. We'll get to see more of them next week. Let's take you to the scoreboards here now. Again, taking a look and seeing what's going on across our area. If we could show those full screen scoreboards for us. Again, Calexico boys soccer winning 3-2 over San Diego Academy. The Mustangs dropped that one. Central, like we talked about, with that huge comeback over Cathedral Catholic to advance them into the semifinals. And there was more action as well as Francis Parker outlasted Southwest 3-1 in a boys soccer matchup, and Palo Verde unfortunately lost to Chula Vista 3-1 as well. So two schools going down 3-1 in those soccer games, and we had some girls action too as well. If we could get to that. Even more scores with the ladies on the pitch here tonight. Brawley taking down Lincoln 3-1 in a girls soccer game. And over in Imperial, they come out with a 4-2 win over the O'Farrell Charter Eagles. So congrats to those Tigers and those Cats on getting big wins for those girls. Let's jump from the field to the hardwood now. A pair of Imperial Valley teams hosted playoff matchups here tonight. And again, it was a big win for the Holtville Vikings, like we said, in Palo Verde. And then we bring up those Southwest scoreboards for you guys. Again, with this girls basketball games, the Eagles come out on top of Castle Park 48-20, and Calipatria outlasts Bonsall, dominating them 65-10 in that game. The Hornets will now play Liberty Charter or CVLCC in their next matchup. And we have one more boys basketball game that actually happened here tonight. The Palo Verde Yellow Jackets, unfortunately, went 0-3 in playoff action here tonight, losing this one, the Grossmont Foothillers. So 72-60 final, a tough one for the 5-seeded Yellow Jackets. And only one Yuma County program representing tonight, and they will have to do so. They did so on the road as the Cibola Raiders, again, losing by 25 to the Castile Colts. Cibola now is eliminated from that 6A play-in tournament. Still a lovely season for those Lady Raiders. We'll have more coverage throughout the rest of these playoffs, but for now, that's all the time we have here in sports.
Music superstar Bad Bunny will take on his first leading film role. Here, who else is set to co-star with him next in entertainment. Welcome back, everyone. And before we go, it's time to meet our pet of the week. Meet Sherry. Sherry's a 4-year-old spayed female shepherd who weighs around 44 pounds and is active and people-focused. Sherry gets along well with other dogs, loves children, and also loves to be petted. Sherry is also a big snuggle bug, loves to ride in cars, and would make a great running buddy. As the pet of the week, there is no adoption fee for Sherry to join your family, so come visit her and all her furry friends at the Humane Society of Yuma today. Music superstar Bad Bunny will take on his first leading film role in historical drama Puerto Rico. The film is described as an epic Caribbean Western inspired by true events surrounding Puerto Rico's origins. Edward Norton, Javier Bardem, and Viggo Mortensen will also star in this film. A release date for Puerto Rico has not yet been announced. Bad Bunny has been busy this month. He's already performed at the Super Bowl halftime show and made history at the Grammys this year as the first Spanish-language artist to take home Album of the Year. It's actually been an amazing year for Bad Bunny and very interesting going and taking on his first lead film role. So it'll be interesting to see when that film does come out. But that's our newscast for this evening, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, we are always online at KYMA.com, and we'll see you coming up tomorrow night. Stay tuned. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is up next. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you for watching 13 on Your Side.